In the late 1960s, the world of performance cars was changing rapidly. Automakers were competing not just to build faster machines, but to build legends. And in the middle of that battle, one car emerged that would eventually become one of the most valuable and respected classic cars in history. That car was the Ferrari 250 GTO. Today it is worth tens of millions of dollars, but its story begins with something much simpler: the desire to dominate racing. At the beginning of the 1960s, Ferrari was already known for building powerful race cars. But the competition was getting stronger. Rivals were developing faster machines for endurance racing, and Ferrari needed a new weapon for the GT class. The company decided to evolve the already successful Ferrari 250 series into something far more focused. Something lighter, faster, and more aerodynamic. The result was the Ferrari 250 GTO, introduced in 1962. The name itself tells part of the story. GTO stands for Gran Turismo Omologato, which means Grand Touring Homologated in Italian. Homologation meant the car had to meet racing regulations requiring a certain number of road-legal versions to be produced. But make no mistake, this was not designed as a comfortable road car first. It was built as a racing machine that could legally drive on public roads. Under the hood sat a 3-liter V12 engine developed by legendary Ferrari engineer Gioacchino Colombo. This engine produced around 296 horsepower, which may not sound extreme today, but in the early 1960s it delivered extraordinary performance. Combined with a lightweight chassis and carefully shaped bodywork, the 250 GTO could reach speeds close to 174 miles per hour. But power alone did not define the car. Aerodynamics played a huge role in its development. Ferrari engineers worked with wind tunnel testing and track experiments to shape the body for high-speed stability. The long hood, sculpted fenders, and distinctive rear design were not just beautiful, they were functional. The body was constructed primarily from lightweight aluminum, helping keep the total weight around 880 kilograms. That combination of lightness and power gave the 250 GTO exceptional agility, especially on winding racing circuits. Driving the car was a very physical experience. There were no electronic driver aids. No traction control, no stability management. The driver controlled everything directly through steering, throttle, and braking inputs. That raw connection between human and machine is part of what makes the 250 GTO so admired today. When the car entered competition, its performance quickly proved Ferrari had built something special. The 250 GTO dominated the GT racing category throughout the early 1960s. It achieved major victories in endurance races and helped Ferrari secure the international championship for GT manufacturers multiple times. One of the most important battlegrounds during this era was the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. Although the 250 GTO competed against powerful prototypes, it consistently performed strongly within its class. The car's reliability and balance allowed drivers to push hard for long periods without mechanical failure. That reliability became one of its greatest strengths. Racing in the 1960s demanded machines that could survive extreme conditions. The 250 GTO's engineering proved durable enough to handle brutal endurance races while still delivering high-speed performance. Another reason for the car's legend lies in its rarity. Ferrari built only 36 examples of the 250 GTO between 1962 and 1964. Each car was essentially handcrafted. Potential buyers could not simply walk into a dealership and purchase one. Approval from Ferrari was often required, and many cars were sold only to trusted racing drivers or established clients. This exclusivity created an aura around the car even during its production years. Owners frequently raced their cars on weekends and drove them home afterward. That dual personality made the 250 GTO unique. It was both a competitive racing machine and a road-legal grand tourer. Over time, however, the world began to change. New racing regulations and technological advances introduced faster cars. By the late 1960s, the 250 GTO had been replaced by newer models in professional competition. Many vehicles from this era would eventually fade into history, but the 250 GTO did not disappear. Instead, it became something far more extraordinary. As collectors began to appreciate the historical importance of early Ferrari racing machines, demand for the 250 GTO grew dramatically. The car represented the perfect combination of rarity, racing success, and timeless design. During the 1980s and 1990s, classic car collecting exploded in popularity. The 250 GTO quickly became one of the most sought-after automobiles in the world. Prices climbed higher and higher. By the early 2000s, the car had already crossed the $10 million mark at auctions, but the market continued to rise. Today, certain private sales have reportedly exceeded $70 million, making the Ferrari 250 GTO one of the most expensive cars ever sold. But its value is not just financial. The 250 GTO represents a golden era of automotive engineering when design, racing passion, and craftsmanship came together in a single machine. It embodies the spirit of competition that defined Ferrari during the 1960s. Visually, the car remains breathtaking even today. The long nose, muscular curves, and aggressive stance give it a presence that modern supercars still struggle to match. Unlike many contemporary vehicles designed primarily with computer simulations, the 250 GTO reflects human craftsmanship and artistic intuition. Every panel, every vent, every curve has purpose. Collectors who own these cars rarely treat them as simple investments. Many participate in historic racing events and classic car rallies, allowing the machines to continue doing what they were originally built for. One of the most famous gatherings for such vehicles is the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, where rare automobiles are displayed and celebrated for their historical significance. When a Ferrari 250 GTO appears at events like this, it instantly becomes the center of attention. Crowds gather not just to admire its beauty but to witness a piece of racing history. The car also holds a deeper meaning within the Ferrari brand itself. It represents the philosophy of Enzo Ferrari, who believed that racing success defined the company's identity. Road cars existed primarily to support the racing program. The 250 GTO perfectly reflects that philosophy. It was built to win races. It succeeded spectacularly. And decades later, it continues to symbolize the peak of Ferrari's early engineering ambition. Modern supercars may be faster. They may produce far more horsepower and use advanced technology to control every aspect of performance. But few machines capture the same sense of history and authenticity as the Ferrari 250 GTO. It is not just a car, it is a rolling piece of motorsport heritage. A machine born from competition, shaped by craftsmanship, and elevated by decades of admiration. And that is why, more than 60 years after its creation, the Ferrari 250 GTO remains one of the most legendary automobiles ever built.